67 Elm supposed to be here?
Yeah.
They're in the hall.
I don't need to at my house.
Okay.
I really don't.
Yes, I'm going to start the meeting now. So, time being 7 o'clock, I'd like to call to order the Somersworth Historic District meeting for December 18th, 2025. And we don't call a roll, do we? No. Okay. I would just like to point out that we have more than the 7 members we need here, so I'll appoint Mr. Powers as a voting member tonight. And of course, Mr. Merrick's always welcome to join in the conversation, ask questions, just not a voting member. First order of business is approval of the minutes of the previous meetings. We have minutes from September 24th regular meeting and October 22nd subcommittee meeting minutes. Do we have any motions on those?
Sorry, I'll motion to approve the minutes.
All right, do we have a second for motion? George?
Aren't you absent during that?
Yeah, I think it's still second. Even if,
Okay.
yeah, so even if someone is not here, they could have watched the video and seen it and still able to vote on it. So with a second by Mr. Poulin, all those in favor of the minutes, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention with Laura. Moving on, projects of minimal impact. Ms. Mears?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We don't have any tonight.
All right. Do we have any public comments by visitors pertaining to anything not on the agenda? Seeing none, move on to old business. Do we have any old business before the commission? Seeing no old business, we'll move on to new business. First on the agenda is 67 Elm Street, Somersworth LLC is seeking a certificate of appropriateness to construct a parking lot and retaining wall on property located at 67 Elm Street in the Businesses with Historic Overlay District, Assessors Map 10, Lot 174, HDC case number 39, 2025. And if the applicant, well, first we'll go with Ms. Mears just for a little background on it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The application was continued from the November Historic District meeting at the request of the applicant. The applicant is proposing to redevelop the vacant lot with new parking area and concrete earth retaining wall on the south and west side of the site, where the retaining wall will be more than 6 feet in height. As per the 2021 International Building Code, retaining walls over 6 feet in height require geotechnical documentation, which can be a condition of approval. This is ready for the board to review.
All right. And obviously we have an applicant here. If you don't mind, just state your names for the record, and then if you want to give us a little brief overview.
Of course. My name's Adam Morrill with Morrill Design Studios, and I'm here representing the applicant, 67 Elm Street, Somersworth LLC. Also joining is Rob Previty, the applicant, or representation of the applicant as well. We appreciate your time tonight as we come back again for another review of this 67 Elm Street project. In your application, you'll find several images of the existing built condition now that the hotel property has been demolished. As you review that, you can see a combination of concrete wall, the old stone retaining wall portion, essentially a large rubble foundation section, and a combination of different retaining conditions. The applicant's proposing replacing that with a precast stone appearance block, similar to a Pepin lock block. Typically, those blocks are around 16 by 48 inches in size. As you flip through your application, you'll also see a perspective view using the material applied to that retaining wall, so you can get an understanding of what that would look like from the Elm Street property. And as you can see, that retaining wall is designed to be the minimal height required to retain the uphill slope as you're working your way towards Green Street. In looking through the balance of the historic district, especially the 22 Green Street project and adjacent other properties, the Pepin stone that's currently being proposed is a similar product to other products found in the area. In looking at that from an appearance standpoint, it's certainly an improvement on the existing condition that you would find with a combination of cast concrete and the old rubble foundation that represents a portion of that foundation wall.
If you don't have anything else to add for the moment, we'll just see if there's any public comment before we go into questions and so on. Do we have any public that wants to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, we'll have you back up here for questions. And any questions from the board? Mr. Nguyen?
Yes, I just see there's this Pepin stone shows a broom finished flat cap. Would you have a cap stone on this, or would it be as the rendering is with just the regular stone?
There would probably be the cap.
I just want to say this rendering is so helpful. Thank you
Appreciate
for
that.
bringing
Thank
this
you.
back.
Mr. Matevia?
Yes, you mentioned that some of the properties in the surrounding area have this or similar to that. Do you recall where those were?
I know that 22 Green Street does have that project, in that project as well.
Ms. Schoen?
Is there any change at all to what you presented last time to this?
I was not here for that previous presentation, but I know that there was a combination of different approaches presented, including a cast concrete wall as well.
Landscaped.
Also a landscaped green wall using a modified bag type with planting opportunities.
So my memory is, and I don't think I missed a meeting on this, this looks like the same presentation that you came forward with, although I guess is the difference that the initial presentation was just a flat concrete wall, and you're now coming in with, which I do appreciate, some bricks that are at least bumpy and not a straight flat concrete. Is that the difference, is that we're willing to do some bumpiness and some texture?
Certainly, it would be a segmented wall as opposed to the cast-in-place concrete, which would be similar to what's currently on the site.
We actually withdrew that application because of resistance from the board, but we're encouraged to bring it back, so that's why we're here tonight. But no, I think we did show an option at that meeting with texture, kind of the similar block, the Pepin block, which as Adam noted, is used throughout the district, so.
So I want to just clarify, because I will say that I like this better than what you came before us with. So let me just say that. And I've also confirmed with some other folks who do engineering work that unfortunately we can't do a natural wall here. I've talked to surgeons who own this property and said he's done dirt work for 50 years and you can't do a natural rock wall. So I have to accept that it is not going to be natural rock. My concern with this, and I think I may echo this for some of the board, although they'll tell me, is that this is again very uniform stuff. And I know from talking to, again, I went out and did some research on this, that you can get these blocks that look a little bit different in size, that it doesn't have to just be all the same block and a monotone. So my question to you is, number one, can we not have just literally a brick wall, which is what this looks like, although the texture is 100% better than what you came with before. So let's be real clear there. But can we have different sizes? And the other thing is, I'm also told that these bricks come with different faces. Again, I've spoken with some folks who do construction for a living, and that we could get some colored blocks so that there's some that are grayer and some that are purpler and some that are redder, and they use them so that this looks like, again, my concern in the historic district, and I understand you have your apartment building right next to this, but the houses that are across from this are some of the oldest in town. And I would prefer not to see something that I would see coming out of Boston. So the more that you can break it up to make it look like it's rock, even though I know it's not rock, not technically rock, that would be better for me and more palatable. Different sizes, different shapes. I know you can't do different shapes, but different colors. For me, that would make this more palatable, understanding you have to have an engineered stone wall there. I've come to that place, but I would prefer that it is not monolithic, which is what I'm still seeing here. Although, to be fair, the small bricks, and that's why I want to nail this down, if you're doing this, I would prefer the small, sort of rocky look compared to the giant blocks that you brought in that were like Legos last time to me. So I'll let you answer, but I'll let other people join in. I know Tim was making fun of my purplish reddish, so.
It was a fair construction term.
Certainly, there are different types of blocks that are available. Some of the ones that have more color contrast are often a smaller block, but there may be opportunities to find a block specific to what we would require that could have some color change. The Pepin block does also come in half block sizes as well that can be intermixed. So you would have the 48-inch as well as the 24-inch. Within that product range.
Okay, I personally would like that better. We'll see what other people say.
All right. Sorry, Miss Barry.
So based on the rendering, I'm kind of going nitpick a little bit. It looks to me like you are proposing a variation in the sizes of this wall based on, and I don't know if that was accidental or if that was just how the rendering goes, because I know sometimes that happens. It looks like some of the larger stones are on the bottom, but it looks to me, and I could be just reading this incorrectly, like there are some half blocks scattered the next row or every other. If that is correct, I love that because, again, mark a calendar. We agree. I love the textures. I like the idea of playing on color scheme a little bit because natural rocks, right, have a little different color scheme in there. Whether or not it's just when they do the precast, just telling them we want that variation of the grays. I'm not going to be like, go get purple or red, but I do like the face of it because I think over time those will also get dirty and they will age well in this particular case. But again, I think for me, if I can see that, again, I don't know if that's what I'm seeing here, if I'm interpreting it that way. So I like the idea of mixing the sizes.
I do have I have a digital version where you can zoom in. If you don't mind, I can show you.
That would be great.
It's actually the full block size.
Oh, it is the full. Okay. Are you willing to do the mix-in of the different sizes if possible?
That would be my request too.
Anybody else? Would anybody else?
Liz wants to see it. Go ahead.
Because I have to agree, I like this. I very much, again, like the texture because I understand with a retaining wall, it gets very hard to do natural stones because, again, it has to actually hold back weight and other things, but I think that this is a good compromise to a flat surface. I'm not going to request a rubble stone like what's there because that is hideous and I don't like it. So I guess for me, the only difference would be I'd like to see a little bit just in variations, whether it's like one line, the next line's the half sizes, or a variation of the combo.
We can mix and match these, right?
Yeah.
I think we'd be happy to vary the sizing of it.
Mr. Ben?
I love that direction also, to vary the sizes and in the gray range. I like that I personally, I started to think when I was like, should it look more like the historic wall in color tone? But I think given that you have a granite look on the building, this is appropriate. My one concern that I have is the difference between the rendering, particularly when I saw it up close, and the Pepin block. It looks to me like the rendered stone has a lot more texture than what I'm seeing on this handout from Pepin. And I would just encourage you, you've said a block like Pepin, not this one necessarily. So I just would really, I think that's a really important feature to the board, that the block has as much variation as possible. In texture, yeah, kind of a depth to the texture.
I also have a blow up of the Pepin block, which shows that texture at an angle that might be a little bit clearer than the smaller scale handout. Would you like to look at this? This is from Pepin's website.
Yeah, I would like everyone to see it. If you don't mind just parading it around for us. Thank you. Okay. It's a little less sharp than the rendering image, but it does have lots of texture. Yeah.
This does have a gray hatch over, so the color isn't.
It does have a what? I'm sorry, can you say that?
So if you can see, like, they did like a gray hatch over this to sort of branding. So this isn't a representation of the color because of that.
Oh, it's like it's a sepia wash.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. But you can see representation.
And do they have some different color? Like, could you buy one row of 24s and mix them in that's a different color, or are you stuck with, this is the color we're stuck with?
I'd have to research that. I believe it's just one color for the Pepin block.
So I'll chime in for a minute. So I guess I would agree with a lot of people here. Seem to want to see some variation in the color. I don't know if there's some sort of product that could be applied to it as a stain or a dye. I'm not extremely familiar with masonry, but I imagine there must be some sort of color variations that could be applied. 3 or 4 different colors maybe I think would be reasonable, just to give those different shades. Looking around our historic district, we've got some large retaining walls that are the old natural block, and a lot of them are very similar in size, much like this, not exact, but, of this general size. I think of the one down along Winter Street near the bridge to Berwick. If you look along the canal, that's built with block that are very large like this. So, it's not the same, but it's a fair representation for a modern thing. I know our standards review really ask for a natural stone, just because that's what retaining walls were always built with in this area, and that's the look we're trying to preserve. So, when you put up a cement block wall, it just really detracts from that. So having the texture, I think, certainly helps. And I'm also curious, is the texture, is like every block the same exact texture, like it's formed out of the same casting, or is there a little deviation to them?
My understanding is that there's maybe 2 or 3 different molds, but that depends again on the manufacturer, the exact manufacturer that would be selected.
Yeah, just having some variation there would be helpful, but I think if I had to go, the color would be more my preference over the casting, because it seems a more easily doable fix as well, even on your part. And Mr. Mativia?
Thank you. Concrete can be shaded and colored. They can be colored almost any color, including purple. But we wouldn't really want a purple block in the middle of it. However, different dyes powdered added when the mix is being mixed a little extra gray or a little more white dye would change the color variable to a different shade. And gray is going to be gray, but dark gray is different than light gray and so on. So I would agree with really what the majority of the folks here are saying, that it really needs some variation in color. And in the manufacturer, if these aren't stockpiled like a giant store that you walk in to say, I'll take 400 of those, which I know they're not. They're cast based on the order, and each concrete mix that's placed in the next batch can be tinted to a different color. I know that's doable. My early career was working with different types of mortar joints and dyeing mortar to certain formulas in order to match historic joinery. So that dye hasn't gone away, and I'm sure it can be done with concrete. I'm positive it can be. As far as the molds, there's probably more than 3 or 4 molds, but it will be dependent probably on your supplier. Some suppliers will say, I only got the 1, and some will say, no, we've got 3 or 4. This presentation is much better than the previous one where it was proposed to do some sort of stamped or stacked, very similar to the bridge undercarriages of the highway. This is much nicer. It's not that stamped repetitive pattern, so I appreciate that very much. I would be in favor of these blocks if you could meet that condition of color variation, size variation, and pattern variation, at least to some degree. Thank you.
Ms. Berry?
Just a quick question. I understand it's going to be mostly vegetation around this wall. I think at the top, is that correct? Is there any particular thought as to plantings around the wall at all, or is it just going to be like grass to mow? And the only reason I'm asking is because this is actually kind of a steep wall, and I'm just curious, are you going to try to prevent somebody from like trying to jump over?
So I think it would probably be grass to mow. One of the limitations we have is that we actually don't own the land behind the wall. So yeah, so it's kind of like we're at the whim of our abutter on that specific issue.
Sorry, I had to go back on. Okay, so that's not your land, so it's just more of that, it will,
Yeah.
okay.
Like we'd like it to look nice and clean as well, obviously, but there's a limitation on how much we can.
Okay. And then just a quick note about the color variation. I'm with Tim a little bit, like a little bit darker gray versus a lighter gray, and just kind of variations of gray. I'm not going to be in favor of like a red or a purple or anything kind of crazy. I mean, other stones definitely, I get where it was just an example, but if we're going down a color variation road, I don't want to get too crazy where if we're going for like a granite look, I'd like it to kind of mimic different colors of granite, you know, but not like the red one we have in our cemeteries, right? Like, that's not what I'm looking for here, so just for
It
clarity.
could be tan, right? Just not purple.
Yeah.
I like purple.
Purple's getting a tough rap tonight, huh?
I didn't say purple, so.
Just as kind of like a point of clarification or like I'm certainly in favor of more variation in color and sizing to the extent we can do it. For purposes of like crafting a vote tonight, how would you propose kind of making sure that we?
I'm going to make a motion as soon as I know nobody else has any other questions,
That's
and
the
we will clarify that in the
That's the
motion
only
for
thing
you.
I'm concerned about is like, I don't want to promise something I can't do without talking to the manufacturers first.
Yeah, and if the motion has something that you find out, oh, they can't
Yep.
do this, you could come back, and then it could come back under old business if it needs another vote around what can't be done.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Mativia?
The supplier is just that one that you're now discussing?
That's the basis of the design, but the civil documents do say or approved equal. So there are some opportunities. But Pepin is located in Sanford, Maine, which is relatively close. And we've done work with them previously. And so they are a preferred manufacturer.
So, trust me, I'll also reach out to them and confirm that they can actually change colors in a variable, like we've been echoing, just shades. One batch a little darker, one a little lighter, and so on. And then when they all get delivered, those will be mixed and matched. So I will confirm that as well. but I'd be interesting to hear what the motion is.
I guess if other discussion's done, I'd certainly entertain a motion.
All right, I will make a motion to accept as presented with the conditions of that it will have a flat cap on top of the wall, that there will be varying degrees of size of the block, from the 4 foot to the 2 foot or varying size. Those can be laid within intermittently or per row.
Is it fair to say randomly?
Randomly, yep. With as much color variation as possible to a rock hue. Does that make sense?
I should have started writing this down.
I wrote it down.
Like, I'm not taking notes over here, so I'm just saying it.
So I'll read it back. I wrote it down because I'm the note taker for tonight. Laura makes a motion to accept with conditions. 1, flat cap on top. 2, varying size of blocks laid randomly, and I think that that's kind of important. And then she says, with as much color variation to rock hue as possible. I would amend that to say, must have some color variation and not be singular in color. Even that means you have to get some different blocks. So that would be my amendment if I were going to vote for this.
And actually, I'm going to do one amendment to my own, sorry. I understand you gave Pepin as the example, but as presented with in-kind or as close to what is presented for Pepin stone. Does that?
Okay, I might have worded this shorter in words, but I
Not
basically,
lengthy, I'm sorry.
I just said approved with the condition of flat cap on top, random variation of sizes with varying color shades throughout. Does that work for the motion?
I would just add must use Pepin or similar company, and I would say shall come back if cannot do color variation, because that, all of us are consistently saying, everybody, even Howard non-voting tonight is saying color variation is important. So if the solution is this company can only do one color, I think we want to hear about it, because we all seem to feel like this is important, and Ryan has been quiet, but I think he's feeling the same.
So you said with Pepin or similar manufacturer?
With Pepin or similar.
Yeah, I don't believe we would be locked into the manufacturer's part of the condition, and we just want the stone to meet the condition,
So I don't
or
need
the,
to name
or
the
the
manufacturer.
concrete, rather.
Okay. But they would have to come back if these conditions can't be met.
Right.
All right. And that's,
Correct.
That's good for the motion and the second then.
I don't know if we have a second yet, but that's good for the first motion.
I'll second
it.
the way it was last read.
Fair enough. Any discussion on the motion?
I have a quick question for the applicant before we vote. Is that clear enough that what we're asking for in the requirements? Because I know you wanted to make sure.
Yes,
Okay.
I think so. I mean, just to clarify on the color, it's, kind of, you don't want like a purple or a white in there. Like, when you say color,
White's
you
a-
mean kind of like within the natural stone.
Right.
Different shades of gray.
I'll even make sure gray is in there, so it'll be with
Or
varying.
black. You could throw
Gray
some black
color.
in there.
And that's where I was going to say, that's why I said a stone hue, because, right, like stones obviously vary quite a bit. So that, yeah, just,
Because I assume it's not the intent of the board that you want a huge amount of contrast.
No,
no.
I don't think we want a rainbow.
Just- right.
I'm not
There's
looking
anything
for,
wrong with a rainbow.
We love rainbows, but
I'm not looking for like a terracotta versus hue, those kind of things. I'm looking for more of a natural stone type hue.
Something you would find, like the rock wall that's there has variations if you look at it. That would be a great amount of variation from my perspective.
And a good color palette may even be to look at the natural stone wall right at the corner of where Market and Lincoln, and, is it Linden?
Winter.
Winter, but the
Winter, Linden, and Market
that
all
whole
join there.
corner, which is just down, which is a natural, very large retaining wall, natural stone, and those are the types of colors that we'd probably most interested in.
Just to clarify, Linden and Market, was that where we were?
Market, Linden, Winter. It's a tri-corner. Head slightly down the hill and don't turn into Berwick, you'll see it.
It's by the Queensbury Mill, I believe. It's right on that.
Yeah, just
So-
opposite of that.
Yeah.
You would have to, you won't see it from actually the road, just park on the edge and then walk a little bit. It's a fairly good-sized wall.
It runs this right along the side of Winter Street, so. So just for one final saying of the, the motion here, the motion to approve as presented with a flat cap on top, with a random variation of sizes, and with varying shades of gray throughout. That. All right, so with that, if there's no more discussion, all those in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Your motion passes. That is approved with those conditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So next on the agenda, we have sorry, lost my agenda here.
To house.
I've got it.
Sean
got it,
Poor.
I just had to find it so I can read it officially. All right, so we have Sean Poor Jr. is seeking a certificate of appropriateness to construct a single-family dwelling on a property located at 18 Grand Street in the historic moderate density district, Assessors Map 11, Lot 48, HDC case number 40-2025.
How are you all?
Obviously, you must be the applicant, but let me just have Ms. Mears go over any background real quick.
All right, thank you. The applicant is proposing to construct a single-family home on the remaining foundation. The house is proposed to have vinyl siding, windows 6/6, 4/4, and 2/2, and trim and asphalt shingles on the roof. Additional information and clarification on some elements of the design have been requested, and the applicant has answered some of those questions regarding the doors and the windows, and they were included in your packet for review. This is ready for the board to discuss.
All right, with that, obviously, we have the applicant here. If you could just state your name for the record. And
Yeah, my name is Sean Poor. I live at 182 Green Street.
And if you don't mind just giving us a brief overview, and then we'll go into
Yeah.
so on after.
So I moved into town in 2022. Bought a home, fixed it up, 182 Green Street. I don't know if you're familiar with it. I'd say it's a little bit of an eyesore, but fixed it up, and like to have an opportunity to do that again over there at that home, and make that my home. Just looking to do it the right way, and looking for your approval. So.
All right, I'm just gonna see if there's any, unless you have anything else you want to add briefly.
I'm not sure what else to add. I
No,
apologize.
that's fine. We'll get into questions after. I'm just gonna see if there's any public that wants to speak. I'm assuming not, but I just have to
Okay.
ask, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak for or against this? Seeing none, we'll keep you right there and we'll go into questions. So, do we have any questions from the board?
So I'll start.
Ms.
It-
Schoen?
It looks like you are, so have you seen the pictures of what this house used to look like?
Yes.
It was a beautiful, like, this was kind of a keystone of that neighborhood. With a rounded porch and turrets and just fantastically gorgeous. And I'm not a builder, so what it looks like is you are going to essentially bump out over the turret, and there will be no turret, and everything will be square, and this is a very traditional house. Correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me that I'm reading the plans wrong.
So this is the builder. He'd probably speak a little bit better towards that as I would, if you don't mind
Great.
him
I
answering.
just
so.
want to hear it.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So basically, I did get a picture of the house, and that's beautiful Queen Anne Victorian house that burnt down.
Yeah.
To rebuild that house, you're talking well over $1.5 million to get the detail of that. The neighborhood's not worth that kind of money to invest into a house like that, to be honest, and not what he's looking to build. I submitted the drawings, or he did, basically trying to follow some of the historical stuff up there based on what the building department told me on other houses that have been built up there in the last 5 years that are new construction. Kind of followed the handbook of, with the architect of, basically what you kind of look for. I basically, to build that house is a monstrous house. That's 3 stories. and huge. He doesn't want to build something that big. He was looking to basically build like a reverse cape, a salt box, keep the turret out in the front, like on the drawing, 1 story up, with the round part, bump out the door on the other part, where the door used to be on the other road, and basically try to add some detail to it. We didn't put in the drawings, but we were looking to maybe do copper roof over the door for a little detail and a copper roof with treatment over the round part of it to kind of dress it up a little bit. Feasibly, it's really not, I just don't see if you built a house up there that would cost $1.4 million that you'd ever get your money back out of it. I understand the house was probably the beautifulest house up there at one time.
Well, so let me just ask you again, because I am not a mechanical person. Tim, I know, is going to laugh between the purplish and the mechanical. It looks to me like there is nothing on this house that is going to be round.
I approached the
You
look of it.
absolutely can. I don't bite. Not lately.
So there's nothing that's going to be round?
Right? Is this round?
That's
Is
the
this
back of the house,
okay?
and that's a bump out. Do you have a full set of drawings? So I had an architect do up a full rendering of all the elevations. I'm sorry. Yep. So I can move back if you have them all. I mean,
It's okay. I'm
So,
trying to figure out
I had them,
looks like-
that's gonna be the round tear right there.
Okay, so that is going to be round.
Yep, the foundation's existing. It's all beautiful granite, all
Yeah,
pointed.
it is.
I already had an engineer look at it and stamp it and certify it for the building department that it's structurally sound. Let me just look and see if I can find the first color page here for you. So that's one of the side elevations from the driveway, which would be the front door bumped out, the 20 by 21 addition that's there. Sorry, this is kind of
No, it's okay. They're kind of stick together, and I'm just trying to see.
That would be the front addition, and
That's
the
the
top
round
of the
part?
round thing's cut off a little bit, which won't be like that on the drawing. If you look at the foundation, from a building point of view, this isn't a clean corner right here. So that's the corner of a house if you box it with the framing. This is kind of offset, see how it's,
So that is going to be round.
so this is going to be round, 1 story high with the roof basically following up, like the original, but only it's gonna stop here.
Okay.
Tried to keep, so originally it was a cape. I can move back over there now if you'd like.
That's fine. I'm just.
Thank you for that. So originally, we were gonna do a cape on it, which didn't really fit the neighborhood. So I kind of spun it around like, the person that, I guess, pretty historical house, the mayor of the town owned it, I guess. The son and the daughter own it now or whatever not. So my son put it under agreement with them. This is my son, by the way. So basically, I saw the rendering they did back in 2023. I don't know if they ever submitted it to you, but it was kind of a salt box, kind of like I kind of did, but a little different and really just a poor design as far as cost-wise. It was like 3 master bedrooms, 3 master bathrooms, and a bunch of other stuff. So basically, I just wanted to build what the print shows there from the front, sides, and everything. Kind of followed your handbook that I got from downstairs was, 6/6 windows. Obviously, in the round part, I can't fit 6. I can have grills made there 6/6, but if the window's 18 inches wide, you literally would be blocking all the glass. So it would look kind of out of place and not proper. And we're up for any option that you have available. If you want 2/1s, 1/1s, 6/6, we're willing to change whatever you want to do. I just kind of followed the handbook, which was kind of strange because it suggested 6/6 for the area from downstairs, I was told. And then I go up there and I see 2/1s, 1/1s, 8/8s in the building. So I really didn't know what to go off of.
So you noticed that this house, as it existed, had just 1/1s,
Yes, I do.
and you were able to get those.
I just got that. I could get 1/1s, yes.
Those are most likely storm windows where you're not seeing the divided light. Those would not have been historically accurate to that time frame as a 1/1.
Correct. Like you just stated, if you read in the handbook, it says that you need, basically something in between the windows for the glass they like to see. for basically a divider, so that's why I went with the 6/6. I can change that to 2/1. I can change it to 2/2. It's all going to be new construction windows, although it is going to have a sill, a wider side plate that mimics a trim board like the historical wants. It will be J-channel receivable for the vinyl, but no J-channel. So if you're familiar with the new window, it's basically a 4-inch wide trim with the track already in it, so we don't have any J-channel. I had the architect add basically a drip board on the bottom because you need one either frostboard on the top or on the bottom. I think it looked a little better going around the bottom of the house than up on the top, hidden in the soffit. Just a couple little details that, and we're up for doing whatever you kind of want us to do as far as appearance look.
Are you willing to put the turret back?
Meaning,
The turret that was, yeah, another story.
I could, but to be honest with you, then the room's gonna go up to the second floor and it's gonna overpower the pitch of the roof. And then basically the thing's gonna be up over that even more, kind of like the picture was over doing it. So it'd really be, it's not as simple as that because in the old days they balloon framed houses. So it was all framed in a circle. Nowadays, to meet the industry codes, standards, I have to run microlam beams in the framing across that round part just to support that, and then kind of frame the round part around it to structurally support upstairs. So to do that on another third floor, all the LVL beams would go from like maybe a 16 to like a 18. Now you get a beam in the windows. It's just not feasible inside. It's unfortunate that you can't really build houses to the way they were built before unless you have 10, 12-foot ceilings and other things going on like you see up at the coast and the beach where it's a, $12 million mansion on the water that has round rooms and stuff like that. It's just really not, it'd be just so not cost efficient. Basically, it would kind of look, I think would look out of place with the style of the house that I presented. I think it would just basically look like a big round tower sitting on the corner of the property. Kind of, this way it blends into it. And I didn't add any porches to the front and the side because it's a 15-foot setback and it's pretty close in the front already with just a set of stairs going down, a deck and some stairs. Like I said, the existing foundation, one of the questions asked downstairs, there's existing windows in the basement. I can match them to anything you'd like, whether they be one pane, 2/2 to match the little ones, 2/1, whatever you want for windows, I can order it anyway. And if the house, I agree 100%, if the house was going up 2 full stories all around, and then like a 12-pitch roof on the top, going up 2 stories with the turret would look nice, but where the roof line goes, kind of like that, it's kind of going to be overpowering, like almost, it'd be probably 6 to 8 feet higher than the peak of the roof. So you'd be looking at a giant tower up there. I think it would look actually out of place on the house, my opinion.
I'll let someone else take over.
Get Miss Nguyen first.
Did you consider? I also find the replica turret a little bit awkward, and because of its height, maybe because of the windows, certainly because they're just like these tiny windows spaced really far apart. But did you consider making that a porch instead?
Meaning what? Like a porch where the round part is?
Yeah, so you could have a rounded porch feature and just a squared out living room.
I mean, so
Or a diagonal exit. or
not,
something.
I don't mean it in any insulting way. From a builder's perspective, not really, because that's part of the foundation. So you'd have to put a deck on there, try to put some kind of rubber roof to flash it out, build the deck up over it again. You'd be stepping down into the house if it was a porch. So, you know what I'm saying? If this is the deck,
Yeah.
the structure of the first floor of the house,
Yep.
there's no, how do I finish off that porch?
You could mount a ledger
What's that?
You could mount a ledger to the inside of the foundation.
No, I'm saying you'd be walking, if the porch was right there,
Mm.
that would be the basement below the porch.
I understand. You'd have to waterproof it, right? Is that what you're saying?
It's just, you'd have to put a pitch up to the thing to keep the water to come back from it, which would be a rubber roof application in that sense. You'd have to build something over the rubber roof because you don't want to drive by the corner and see a piece of black rubber on the porch. So now if you built a teak deck over that, that's going to come up even higher to accommodate the pitch. It's really, in reality, I would never do that on any house anywhere because whatever falls through the decking is going to build up under the porch, rot the whole house out and cave in the floor. It's going to rot right along the wall and cave in. So to make that a porch, do you mean the porch extending past it or on it, the round part?
Putting the porch on the round part. I don't think this is impossible. I mean, there are ways to do it with good flashing.
Are you
good
saying like the
materials.
original picture of the house that's in there?
Yes, like the original porch.
So adding a porch, that's past the foundation.
Right, but I think what she's saying is you can use the foundation as part of that porch, almost like an open air. So you're still building on the foundation, but you end up building kind of that round porch around that open space. So you are putting the round porch back. You don't have the turret going up two sections, but you have kind of the porch, and you're still using the foundation kind of as the supports for that porch. Is that what you're saying?
I think he understands me, and he's
Yeah.
making some valid points about the
You have a
construction.
drawing
I'm
of
just
the old-
saying that if there may be ways around those construction concerns, but
Do you have a drawing that she just showed me of the existing house? Like,
yes.
We all have the same one.
okay, is it okay to just
I was
come up-
not referring to it too much because I don't think
No.
we should hold you to that.
No, trust me, I wish I could rebuild that house for him. I mean, I looked at the picture when they sent it last week, and I was like blown away with the shingle detail, the trim detail. I mean, that's a terrible loss that burnt to the ground. But if I could approach, so what I was getting at is, see the porch
Crazy.
around it, and I don't know if this is on, to the porch. No.
There you go.
So I see what you're saying, the porch around it like that. It's still underneath it. So if I built a porch around like that, the roof would actually come out off the porch, kind of pitched. So I'm not sure how that would look because it would look like this rounded part if you see in the drawing with a porch like another 6 feet out past it.
No, I was actually not saying build the porch past it, build the porch on the footprint of the turret
Right here.
right here on that rounded foundation. And I hear your concerns about that are water management, right?
Yes, but if you look at the other drawing that I just showed over there, the framing goes over to here and across. So this is going to go over to here to support that carrying across the wall, and this would tie into it. So if that's exposed outside kind of to the weather, and that ever got any water through the roof or backed up on the rubber floor or anything under it, that's going to rot the structure of the house from the first floor.
Could you pour a footing underneath here and have a pier for the corner?
Yeah, you could, but no. There's no way to close off the foundation. I understand what you're saying, but that'd be like basically putting a rug over an open spot of the foundation. If anything say there's a deck built there with a corner and even a footing under the post, I could run the Michael Lamb beams right to the front corner, like I just showed you, like it shows in the drawing. What is going to protect that decking from, if it ever gets wet or weathered, from if it rots there, it's going to rot out the structure of the corner of the house.
Wouldn't you have a membrane roof under it?
Okay, and then what do I do with the porch part of it? So now where do I put the door? In the round part of the porch or the round part of the room, the porch that you're kind of suggesting, takes away from the inside of the living room of the house.
It does.
And it also just creates a porch that you don't have access to because there's no door there. So now, are you going to put a door in the round part?
It's not that. I didn't think it was that complicated. The house could have a square corner there, and you have a rounded porch in front of it. And you could have a door out to the porch. You have to waterproof the roof over the foundation. These are things you could do to have an open porch, or you could make a better turret you could have it enclosed, but you have got 3 tiny 18-inch windows that have like 4 feet of wall in between them. I don't think that's aesthetically great.
So if I could add more windows to the terrace if you wanted on the first floor, I just drew that up just kind of to show it. I mean,
I
it didn't
think
really have any specifications.
what you would normally see, right, would be a kind of continuous sill and a continuous header and moles between the windows, right?
Okay, but if you look at the existing Queen Anne house, it has rounded lead glass windows.
Yeah, you're not
They
gonna
don't
be able
make
to do
rounded
that.
windows anymore, so I don't know where you can get them. And on top of that, if you look at that drawing from the original, there's only 2 windows in the whole round terrace of 9 feet, and the door's on the side. So basically, I have 3 windows in there now, and that's all that's in the existing house. And the door is on the other street, actually, which, you know, maybe years ago, that's where they went in through, or the side porch like that. But there's actually a walkway and granite steps that go up to the bump out where I have the front door proposed now to the house. I understand what you're saying as far as building a porch, but you can't build the porch over the foundation. I don't even think they'd allow that by building code. That'd be like having a deck on the roof that you have to build a rubber roof on.
It would be just like a roof deck, yes.
Okay, so could you explain to me? I'm fine with doing that for you. How would I step from the porch down into the house? What am I going to step down 8 inches?
Oh, I hear you. There's an issue there. It was just I'm not saying you should do it or have to do it. I said, have you considered doing it?
No,
and you're
'cause it's
saying
not-
you don't want to do it, and that's okay.
It's just basically building a house that's going to have nothing but problems in the future, leaks, rotting. You just don't. No, that'd be like leaving a corner of the house not closed up and let squirrels get in it. That's just not even feasible to do. It's not cost efficient. It's not anything I've ever seen on any house before on a ground level thing. On a roof, maybe, yes, but overlooking like a roof deck. But that's where you have a door you're stepping out onto. In this case, if I did what you wanted to do, I'd be about, time you pitch the roof up to the thing, 9 feet, so you need a 1/4 inch per foot, roughly, 1/8 inch because it'd be under a roof cover. You're talking then probably be a 10-inch step down into the house from the door. So now, if you do an 8-foot ceiling, you're not even gonna fit a standard door in because of the header. So that's like, it's just, I've never seen it done, and, I mean, as far as building code, I don't think it can be done. Unless they cut 2 feet of the foundation out to lower it down, like a depressed shower. So, I mean, I'm trying to look for a compromise. He's already got about $15,000 tied up into this.
Why don't we move on from this particular question? We
Yeah.
kind of heard that
All right.
you would prefer not to do that. It was a suggestion, so can we move on to a different?
Sure.
Yep. So Mr. Poulin had. next.
Yeah, hi. Unfortunately, that house is gone. I was one of the first ones there and watched it burn. It was terrible. We're not going to get this house back.
No.
And that's what we got to deal with here. It's not coming back to look that way. The only thing, I don't have a problem with this at all. The only thing I would be concerned about, you said no J channel, so we'd have to hold you to that.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
No J channel, anywhere in the building.
Nope.
Okay. I would be interested in the size of the boards going up the rake and the windows, the corners, the freeze board, the soffit. What size boards are you putting in there?
So in your booklet that I got from downstairs, they said ain't nothing smaller than an 8-inch corner bead or anything on there. I think it was 7 inches.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to present for that was I was going to use an AZAC for the corners instead of a vinyl. Basically build it out, for the vinyl to tuck down behind it.
Yep.
So when you look at the house, you're going to see this for a corner board, the little fluted block down the bottom with the other board going off of it. Starter course going up, and basically the soffit. That was my next question for you. Doesn't really specify. Does it have to be all AZAC soffit? Can it be vinyl soffit with metal on it? It's hard to tell, honestly. I'm not from town. I did my best to look at all the houses up there that are newer and older and remodeled, and
I was just looking for the width of it.
I'm going to do whatever it specs and wider, so 8-inch corner board, 5-inch trip board, is what I think I put on the drawing and put in the writing. And basically no J channel.
What about around the windows?
It's going to be a new vinyl window, 4-inch sides,
Okay.
already ready to receive vinyl. So it's not really, it's same design as a J channel, but it's not J channel.
No,
It's
I get
basically
you.
a dadoed out, vinyl window casing.
The only other thing I would pick up on here is the stairs. I don't see anything.
So that was something I didn't draw in there to the front. There are some there. They're probably going to have to be replaced because they've been 15 years of weather outside. I wasn't sure, so I did bring some deck samples for the back and some brochures on it. I wanted to use composite decking out back. There's like 20 different variations. Basically looks just like, looks basically like you could get it in mahogany, you can get it in two-tone. Very nice, clean, environmentally friendly, don't rot. That's what I wanted to use on the back. The front, we're up to do whatever you'd like as the board. If you want to see granite steps out there, if you want to see, it's a granite foundation. The foundation is beautiful the way it's pointed out, and you've been there, so I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Close by. I live close by.
Yeah, so we're trying to keep as much as that. It's pretty much landscaped. It's, the guy takes care of it right now. I don't know what he does, his little workshop in the garage, but we've driven by a million times. Grass is always cut. It's pretty good condition. So whatever you look for, if you want to do a set of masonry stairs with granite treads, I'm good with that. If you guys approve doing a deck out front with this, with the AZAC skirting and straight boards going down like AZAC 3-inch trims around the sides to box it in, to kind of.
Basically, I was just saying, I'm good with this. I'm just interested in the width of the boards that you're going to use.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned I don't see anything on the
And once again, I apologize for the picture in the blueprint. It, for some reason, kind of cut off the round part of the roof. It's not going to stop square like that. It'll actually be to a point on it. It's just the way that it printed it when it switched from one side view to the other side view. It kind of cut the top off with the square.
Chime in real quick, well, Mr. Medina has had a turn, then I'll go after him.
Sure. As much as I can appreciate the members really wanting to have a turret constructed there, that turret burned down and the house is being replaced, I can at least say I appreciate reusing the existing foundation. And that existing foundation does have that turret base. So you're making some use out of it, most likely because there's an existing deck that's already on that turret footprint. And I'm sure you're planning on reutilizing that floor system?
Not necessarily. I was gonna take that off and redo it all. It's it's decent timbers, but over the last whatever it's been, 13 or 14 years, they just had plywood on the top of it. It's I would.
They had a very expensive blue tarp for a very long time.
Well, it has a lot of fungi and mold growing on the inside.
So I appreciate that, and be honest with you, I would have been surprised if you had answered you were going to keep that that framing system. Just for an educational purpose, I think that having that turret area used as a potential deck would require a step up onto that deck. Therefore, you would run into headroom issues at a doorway in there or very unique doors. So I understand what you mean there. Could a deck be exposed to the weather and properly covered in? Absolutely, it's done all the time. Pocket porches is the most common terminology for that. But we're not there. That's not what we're talking about. You're proposing to reuse an existing foundation on a very tight lot with limited setbacks and something that's been 13 years looking at what's there and we'll never get back to what was there. I was part of the review when the initial proposal, almost 1 year after the fire, to replace that house exactly like it was. And it was 12 years ago. And I think at the time, the cost of construction exceeded $1 million. And that was then. I don't know what it would cost now. The contractor was really wanting to do it. However, to replace the house as it was, certain interior components to replace wouldn't met code because that house is gone. Anyway, I'm not totally displeased with the application. I think that torch section and that roof section on that turret could be much steeper to give it some sort of pizzazz. But maybe those, and you also spoke about window and grills in the windows. Certainly we wouldn't ask you to do a 6/6 window and a 14-inch wide pane. That would probably be a 2 or 2/2 or of that nature. So the grill pattern would be proportionate to the glazing it's installed in, if that makes sense.
Okay. So when you say, yep, so basically your casing, you're saying. So if there's a 4-inch casing around the window.
So if you've got your glazing, that's, those are narrow windows you're proposing in that area of the turret.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a 6/6
No,
look.
because
It's
you'd
too
have,
crowded.
yeah, you'd have 3
So I mean, it would be the grill pattern would be proportionate to the window that it's being applied to. An egress window would be 6/6. A little casement window, maybe that's over a bedroom. That's a 2x2 big casement would be just 4 grills, and so on. So it's proportionate. I'm not happy about the vinyl being as chosen siding. I understand there's a cost significance not to do it. We've allowed, and will probably continue to allow new construction. This is considered new construction in our district that probably will be vinyl again. However, there are some that are choosing to not do vinyl, and we appreciate if that could be an attempt. I'm probably not going to see it from this applicant, but I'm not totally opposed to it. I would ask for the condition that the steps that are existing that are granite remain and be used and remain as those steps. They're probably not of a riser height that's acceptable in today's code, but if you don't move them, they should be still good in the existing building code of that component. That said, my last question is, there's an existing garage on that property? What's the intent with that?
There's an existing garage. It's over on the back right corner. It's actually, they put work into that as a new roof on it. Probably roof it. I'm not sure what color it is. I think it's like a salt and pepper gray architectural on it, or maybe a single tab. I don't really recall from the inspection. But I did have that inspected by an engineer also when he did the foundation. That's structurally all sound. It had an arch window in the original picture of it over the one door on it. Since then, I think the doors are boarded up, so I don't even know. There's no door there no more, just plywood.
I'm asking really, are you going to vinyl side that?
I would probably vinyl side it to match the house identical and probably change the roof to the same color so it looks like it's symmetrical and matches.
And the doors that are on that garage now, a batten, I think they're, if I remember, were they swing doors?
There's a track inside right now. There's no door there. It's plywood shut.
The overhead door is, oh, that's changed. That's not how I remember it, but anyway, yeah. Because the last few times there used to be some banner or sign hanging over it for me.
There's a banner on it.
Yeah.
And then there's a law firm sign above it.
Yeah. So.
He was a lawyer.
Yeah.
So they kind of disguised it a little bit.
There's a big banner still on the thing, but there's no door there. It's just plywood boarded up.
There you go.
He's actually got a workshop in there, like a little wood shop. His wood stove, bunch of tools, all types of stuff.
Okay. No further questions.
With the garage, just to answer your question, it's not wide enough to put a two garage doors in the front of it because of, back then they only had one car was smaller. So my option of that was, and I'm open for any suggestion from the board, from you guys, I was going to put either the biggest door I could in to fit it, like a one door like there was there, overhead, or I could put a smaller door, like a 9 or 10 foot door, and side the front and put a window there or something, whatever whatever. I really didn't put any thought into designing that because it was existing. According to downstairs, I know that has nothing to do with the Historical Society, but basically I was told by the building inspector that's grandfathered in and can stay. And you have up to 1 year to rip it down and replace it on the property it sits on right now on the foundation, because it would never meet the setbacks. It's a foot off the property line.
It was built according to the regulations at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can stay.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Just like to, sorry. I'm just going to chime in for a minute myself. Yeah. Sorry. Getting in a little coffee fit. So, you know, I agree. I know we're not going to get the old house back. Unfortunately, that's been lost, is what it is. I love the fact that you're reusing the original foundation. That alone is creating this oddly shaped house that doesn't match, you know, other houses we've had have been capes or just something that's more of just a box.
Yep.
You know, so having some of these, you know, the roundness of the turret on the corner, the bump outs in the back, one in the front, doing that gives it a little character that don't exist in a lot of newer houses. So I appreciate that.
Yep.
I know they don't run up to the roof, maybe higher than the main roof, so be it. You know, we can't work miracles here. So I'm cognizant of that and accepting of that. I'm not looking for big ornate here. I'm pretty happy with it overall as it is, in my opinion.
Okay.
You know, the fact that you want to put trim on it that's not just this 1 inch or whatever they put on new stuff. You're proposing 4 inch on windows, 8 inch on the corners, you know, some significant trim that talks to the character of the other houses in the area. So I can appreciate that part of it. I like that part of it. The windows, as far as the grills, I mean, I know I'm jumping around here, but we're touching on a lot of different things. So it's not often we get an entire build here at this commission because there's so few vacant properties.
I understand.
So I could go either way on the grills. I'm not stuck on one or another. If the whole house matches and, you know, has a character to it, it's whatever it is. You know, it's going to be a new structure. I get that. I guess the only thing that jumps out at me is when I look at that turret, it just seems weird having slim windows to it.
Okay.
You know, and I'm not even going to compare it to the old house. I don't want to do that. I think a turret's a lot of times I think of like breakfast nooks that people want a lot of sun in. They usually have a lot of windows.
Yep.
So to me, it just seems like maybe that should have more windows. That's my opinion, not the board's.
And I'm not against that. I mean, there's only 3 drawn into it. They're probably only going to be 18 inches with the trim around it to try to keep the contour. It's already going to be tough enough to frame. I don't know if any of you have ever built anything or framed anything. To build that, to make it round in today's standards with micro-lam beams and all the code, I mean, I basically have to buy like the biggest lumber you can get and start cutting circles out of it and throw the rest away and put it all together in a circle. I'm not against if you'd like, and you know, like you said also with the windows, I'm not against putting 5 of those windows in so it's symmetrical, you know. So it's like glass, maybe 18 inches of glass, 12 inches of wood, 18 inches of glass, 12 inches of wood.
And you know, on that same thought, if it was a 2-over-1 kind of situation, because that was easier to get the windows for and maybe wouldn't look awkward with so many grills to it.
Right.
I'm not opposed to that. If the whole house ended up being that, so be it.
Well, that's why I switched those ones to like basically I think it's 4/4 on the drawing because by the time you add in all the, you know.
I understand the proportion. You know, when you get a narrow
know what I
window,
mean.
you're not going to have the same amount of grills.
And same with the 2-foot by 2-foot crank out windows, which I was going to put in the basement. I was just going to do a 2/2 like on the side of the stairs. That's just to let some light into the staircase.
I'm just thinking if you were to put a lot of windows there and you need to go with like a narrow window and you just want to do away with the grills and then you went that pattern with the whole house, I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
Again, I'm the only one on the board, but just throwing ideas out here.
All right.
You know, again, this is a big project, you know, especially for us. Like I said, it's rare we have full houses before us.
Yeah, and it's
So I almost want to throw an idea out there, whether you're amenable to this, it's up to you. Maybe the board will like this idea. You know, I almost wonder if we shouldn't, you know, all give some input here.
Oh, I'm
and
all
let
for
you
it,
refine
absolutely,
the
yeah.
picture, you know, the drawings, bring it back with a more finished product, if you will.
I'll be honest with you, and I didn't know what to expect. I tried to write everything up as it is. It's a little funny because the house been sitting forever. It's been on the market for 400 and something days. It's been dropping from 200 down to 180 to 170. We put it under agreement, put a deposit down. Like I said, I've already paid an engineer to come out to engineer the foundation. He only extended it X amount of days for a closing based on the meeting. And he didn't want to extend it that far. So I'll be honest, I mean, he's basically pulling out a line of credit on his other house that he doesn't need if he's not building this. Because he could just go get a mortgage on a finished house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot going on this, and if it's going to go to next month's meeting and another meeting, we're just not even going to pursue it, unfortunately.
And I'm not trying to drag it
Yeah,
out. I just want to make it easier if that was an easier process.
Yeah.
You know, to flush out the details.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
I'm not saying we have to do that.
I just tried to keep some of the features of the house that were there for the foundation. Like you said, it's never going to be rebuilt to what it was. It would be well over, like he priced out $1 million 14 years ago. Lumber's doubled or tripled since then. Copper's
Absolutely.
up 30% in the last 3 months from the tariffs. Nothing goes down. It always keeps going up. So, I mean, I build houses on a regular day. Yeah, people saying, "Oh, you're getting $900,000 for a house now." Yeah, well, it's costing $700 to build it, so you're not getting any extra money, and you know, and it's just a shame that the house burnt down. I'd love to put back even more detail, but you have to look at it from this perspective too. I really look around. I follow the market all the time in Somersworth. If you put $700,000, $800,000 into this house, I don't know, it might be a lifetime before you get $700,000 or $800,000 to sell it again. So unless, you know, you're building something that's your dream home and you don't care, it's just not feasible to do all that much detail with cost-wise. It's not. And that's why it's been sitting for 14 years, because no one's going to put that kind of money into that.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you say here. I'm just
Yeah, no, I understand.
just trying to think of all the options and
Yeah.
you know, so on and so forth. But I don't think I have anything else right off, so we'll give Miss Barry a chance. And
I do have a couple more, like just two more small points. I love the idea of the copper on the front. I think that would be lovely. I wonder if the pitch on that front door roof maybe needs to come, if you want to raise that a little. That's a minor point.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do exactly a flat roof. I think if you look in the detail of the prints, I think you might have like a 3-pitch, I think, or something on it. I can make the pitch as much as I can. I'm willing to raise that up as much as I can, so you kind of see maybe even do like a 3-way roof, so it kind of, with the copper, so it kind of like pops.
You can see
But
your
I can
copper.
only go, I have to stay at least, you know, so far from the window for snow accumulation by code.
Yeah, no, I think even if you brought it up 6
like-
inches, it would be dramatic. It would
So
be
if I brought it
dramatic.
up like 6 or 8 inches, so it had a little detail to it.
And then
That's kind of, you're on the same page as me with the copper roof also, coming up to a point on the house, a little higher than the print. I apologize for the print. It's just his software wouldn't allow him to do it like that because of the box. He tried to change it like 10 times, and like I stated to you, where the circle's offset, it's not really square on it. It's really hard to do on the computer. It just wouldn't let it do it.
And then
So,
the other thing I wanted to ask about is probably also a printing like computer glitch. I just wanted to check. I think I'm seeing, is this trim coming down next to the master bedroom?
so it is to follow the line on the other side of the house if you were doing a traditional cape.
Yeah.
I really don't want to put that in. That's more of a board that you'd put in to kind of look in there. I think it would look cleaner just with just siding on it.
I agree.
So
Totally. And also I just want to echo what they said. Like I'm just happy to see something get built on this
appreciate
property,
it.
and it's great that you're going to reuse the foundation.
And I'll be honest with you, I would love to put a 60-foot porch around the whole house for him with all the fluted details and everything else, the columns.
Yeah.
I love historical houses. I grew up in the city. I mean, I've been in houses that have maids' quarter stairs going up 3 floors to the attic, so they're not in the common living area, all types of stuff. So I love historical houses. And when I ever saw the pictures, I was like, oh, I showed them to my wife. I go, oh, look at the house that was there. I go, what a shame. You know, so that's what we're here for, kind of just looking for input from all of you. If you like the fact of a copper roof raised up, I'm all for that. And I mean, If it's something, I don't know if you want me to redraw it, I could. If it's
No,
really not
it's-
gonna show much more detail. If it's-
Honestly, I wouldn't make that a condition of your approval. It's just a recommendation.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that, yep.
George?
Go ahead, Tim. I was going to make a motion. But go ahead.
I would like to see more windows in the round wall. I understand why the windows are narrow. You can't put square in a round, but the smaller the square will fit around to a point. And this round could probably handle another 2, potentially 3 additional windows in that sort area. Framing round is not simple. I've done it a couple of times, or at least 3 times that I can recall, and it isn't simple, but it's doable. But the windows do need to be narrow, or you're going to buy and have made curved glass, which is a lot of money. So that's not really what I'm asking for, but I would like to see an agreement that you could put more glass in that turret and crowd them together to make them not look like little skinny toothpicks, like it was part of a good design that came around with all those windows. And I would also like to see that turret roof another 1 or 2 degrees sharper to give it a more of a pitch. As far as the front porch going, and you wanted to raise that pitch up, I'm not familiar with the code that requires a certain freeboard from the top of the roof to the bottom of a window. I certainly might look into that when I get to work tomorrow. But you could crowd those windows closer to that pitch. That would also complement the higher pitched turret. They would look together, they'd match better. So that would be my condition depending on what the motion is, that the roof pitch on the front and the turret be steeper, the front porch be closer to the bottom of the windows, and at least 3 additional windows added to the turret section. That's all I've got.
Mr. Poulin?
I was going to make a motion if everybody's good with that. I'll make a motion to accept this. But with the conditions that the size of the boards are 8-inch, so so that we know that. Any additional windows in the turret. And at some point in the future, when you get to that point, I'd like to see what the stairs are going to look like. That's about it.
Yeah, like I said, there's snow there and everything else now. I'm not sure. There was just some side things and then the steps. I don't know if they're damaged. I don't know what's going on with them. So I will do anything that, we'll do whatever it takes to get it, looking proper over there.
So Tim, you would like to probably add an amendment that says the steeper roof pitch that you talked about for the turret?
My amendment would be to the area of the round turret area to be at least another, I'm not sure, it's probably 11 pitch at this particular drawing. It's 2 degrees more. Maybe if it's up to 12, it should be a 15, that kind of thing, steeper. And the front porch roof pitch be increased to come at least 1 course away from the bottom of the window. But because the windows are separated, the center of that front porch, now talking off the amendment, that pitch comes away, so it gives you more clearance. And that looks like the pitch would be increased by 5, 6 courses.
And I apologize, I wasn't looking at the print. I understand what you're saying now, where the roof is in between the windows. So there's no bounce.
Should be no issue there.
See any problem, I could bring that up almost
So
to the window height.
2 degrees steeper on the turret, and the center roof pitch raised tighter to the bottom course of the windows.
And Liz wanted copper, something with a copper. Liz, you wanted a pitch change too.
I didn't draw it up on the drawings because it was I wasn't sure going by what the building department was talking to me about. I'd like to put some type of copper roof over the front door on the higher pitch roof, like you were speaking, like 3-sided, and also on the turb going up to a point, tying into the corner of the house. Basically, when I say copper, it would probably be a new roofing metal that's copper, copper in color, that's basically coated, that doesn't oxidize and, rust during rain, and you know what I'm saying? Like, basically something that's copper, it's copper appearing. Like
So is it copper or what?
if you need copper, well,
So those are the little bitty details we're very interested in.
I was going to say a metal roof that was copper in color is what I was looking to do. If you require a solid copper roof, then I can do it.
I'm saying we're suggesting, and you're at your suggestion, that front porch roof be copper. I would concur.
Right.
We're not going to ask you to do the whole roof in copper because the whole,
Right.
that's,
Just the porch and the round part. No, I understand. But when I was saying copper in color, I was meaning more of a metal roof with a like copper tone to it. Like they make new roofs now that are metal that you could get made into any shape you want that overlap like a metal roof.
so you can still get copper roofing. So we
There's a
need to know
copper too.
what are you asking to do?
I'll do a copper roof if
There
that's
you
what
go,
you're
copper
looking.
roof.
I don't know that we
Solves it
want to adhere to that. This is something he's offering but might not do. And if that's not something that we are hard pressed to say you must, I think we should say
Well, the first thing he said was copper, maybe.
maybe. That's where I'm like, I don't know that we write it in. We can write in that we're agreeable to it, but not that it's a requirement would be my concern.
If you want to write it in as it's a requirement, I'm good with that. I wasn't saying maybe to that. I was looking maybe with your board approval.
We can say copper roof approved, but the question is, if he doesn't find a copper roof, are we saying fine, whatever metal works, or are we saying copper or asphalt? Like, I think we do need to give him some direction, because roofs are important here. We look at roofs.
I just want to know what he's proposing, and if he proposes copper and we approve it, I'm just,
We'll do a copper roof.
If you want copper, I could do a copper roof. When I was saying copper, I
You
was
can do it
saying
as an
more
optional.
proposing a metal roof, copper colored,
I'm just
with a coating on it, so it
so
don't
you want to
oxidize.
propose a metal roof with copper color?
Yes, with a coating on it that doesn't, change colors. If you require copper, I'll put copper. Okay. No, I'd rather do a metal roof that's copper in color for the same appearance, but basically has a coating on it so it doesn't oxidize and rot. Sorry about that.
Okay, so it seems like we're working as a group on a motion here.
Right, I can
So-
read back if you want me to read
No,
back.
I've been jotting it down myself. I guess because I just looking through the plans, I don't see anything that really calls out the dimensions of anything as far as trim boards and so on. So I think we should touch on that just to clarify, like the 8-inch corner boards, the 4-inch window trim. So if we can just touch on all those details and we'll just work it into the motion.
I'm good with that if it's all in writing, and I don't plan to change anything like that if it's approved from you guys. And if you
Yep, that's what
happen
we're
to
trying
drive
to do.
by and
is-
be like, oh, he didn't put up an 8-inch, he put up a 6-inch,
Yep,
pull my permit and throw me out. You know what I mean?
that's the thing is we're just trying to get it.
It said, I
those
believe,
details.
7 inches or greater in the brochure that I got from downstairs. So basically, I go with an 8-inch. It's 7.5 inches of AZAC built, stacked out. Like I said, I'm going to
And
do.
of course, 8-inch. Yeah, we get it. 7.5, 8, whatever.
Yeah, but it's
so-
still over what is required by
So
you.
8-inch corner
by
board
it,
is
yeah,
fair to
yeah.
say.
Is it trim board or corner board? Because I wrote trim boards
It
down.
would be trim board. I'm just saying the corner. I mean, when you do vinyl siding, they call it a corner. A vinyl corner board, whatever.
The only thing you use in vinyl is the siding, not the corners, not the.
This is going to be
Right.
like it's basically a PVC trim board.
Gotcha.
And is that going to be throughout the house?
So that was my
trim?
question for you guys. It doesn't specify, like, obviously new code and everything for breathing. You have to do vented soffits on everything with the vinyl, which falls under the vinyl category. Would go into a T molding, not a molding that's up there that the vinyl butts to.
Yeah,
not
your
in the
win-
J
your win-
channel.
Your windows would have integrated J's.
So basically, I wasn't going to do a board up the top. I was going to basically do metal wrapped with all the soffits and all the trim boards. Basically, probably a 2x8 board on the fascia sides, rakes, all that, with another 4-inch, piece strapping on that, double build it out for an edge for the drip edge, kind of like every house kind of is. Wrap that all in white aluminum to blend in with the soffit and have a nice clean soffit under there and vinyl, and put the frostboard on the bottom. I know some of the house up there have a frostboard up on the top, jammed up against the soffit. To me, that kind of hides into the soffit. It all just blends white. I think if he does like a contrast color on the vinyl siding, and you have a nice 4-inch window trim, your corner boards and the bottom 5-inch board on the bottom for a frostboard, I think it would really pop. Like, it kind of fit the neighborhood. That's all I'm going on.
So that bottom frost board, how big would that be?
I'd do a 5-inch there basically, so it'd be like whatever. Do a 1x6, it'd be 5.5, because you don't want it overpowering the trim board, so it'll smaller. And then also I'm going to add on the corners of the corner trim board, I'm going to put another piece of AZAC over it with 45 edges to kind of give it that pillow looking effect on the top and bottom. You know what I mean? I just want to do that personally to dress it up because it looks like a column on the corner of the house. And I really didn't pay the architect to put all the drawings. We didn't pay him to put all that in to the specs of the full set. When I do a full set of prints, and I have no problem submitting one to you guys,
That would be great.
I just didn't do it because of the cost issues, to be honest with you. I just want to do all the elevations. When I do submit that, it's going to be spec'd right out in the build sheet, like any other construction material that's required by code. It'll say 1x7 corner boards, 1x5, frost board. It'll be all in the ledger of the print.
And that's why I'm just going over this now, just so
Yeah.
we all
Yeah,
are on the
absolutely.
same
Yep,
page,
yep.
that's all. So basically, the list I have for details here is the round turret would increase roof pitch. The round turret would increase the number of windows, increase the front entry roof pitch with a copper roof, 8-inch corner boards, 8-inch rake boards, 4-inch window trim, a 5-inch frost board, and soffits with a vinyl and aluminum system.
Yes.
Wait, I have
Am I
metal
missing-
roof, copper, and color. Because he declined to do the copper.
Thank you.
Copper roof color.
And to George's point, I think earlier, no J channel.
But
there's integrated J channel on the windows, which is not J channel.
It's It's not. When you say J channel, I'm thinking like an ugly piece of plastic J channel.
Yeah, so you
It's
understand.
actually dated out.
With what you
cases.
said, we're fine with, but
Yep.
just because George likes to clarify that when we
Oh yeah,
allow vinyl,
absolutely. Yep.
just for the record.
All the windows will have the 4-inch, ready to receive with the sill in it.
Do we want to discuss window grid patterns, or is that?
I don't want the 6/6 very bad. That's going to look weird up there.
I think I'm okay with any that's appropriate to the size of the window or none.
Leave it open to him then, or?
As long as they're consistent. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
fine with 2/2.
As long as it's consistent through the house.
I'm not. I think 6/6 would look weird.
Well, what you're going to get saying consistent with the house is the ones in the rounded area cannot be consistent with the 6/6. That's where you're going to run into problems saying consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you prefer I do 4/4s everywhere, except for the small 2x2s? I just was kind of doing it almost on like a 1800 style, like salt box reverse, where you see like, you go down and see like one of the old houses in Connecticut. It's got the 6/6, kind of like, the slats, but.
That area, not to be mean to you, but that area doesn't really have those kind of houses.
Oh, yeah.
If you look, the houses up there are kind of Victorian style, and they have big kind of sweeping windows. There's no houses up there except for maybe the new houses that are built by the old fire tower, GE mess up there. Those guys have some different window panels, but Lydia's house, none of those houses up there have mass grid windows. They don't. They're 2/2. Some of them are 1/1. I know I have some 1/1s in my house, and mine's 1877. I don't think a 6/6 would be a good grid pattern for that. I think it would look funky and weird up there.
I'm flexible with whatever you recommend. I only put the 6/6 in it, to be honest, because,
They said so downstairs. I
no,
know,
in the
but-
brochure for the Historical
I know,
Society,
you're
it
not,
shows all 1/1s. but
Historic
6/6.
district.
Historic district, sorry. It basically shows that, and then I went up there and I'm like, I don't see one
no,
6/6
there's
window
not.
in
There
this
isn't
town.
any
Yeah.
up there.
I mean,
I would
except for
rate
the
the
school,
bottom of your
you know,
hill.
the school's a little
So-
different.
There.
As the person who's going to live in this house,
Yep.
do you want grids at all?
I honestly don't really care.
Okay.
I like the windows to be, functional and warm.
No,
If they're,
Grids don't affect that in any way.
No,
they don't.
appearance-wise.
Yeah.
Appearance-wise, I honestly do not care. They could be a million grids, they could be no grids. I'm flexible.
Personally, I'm more in a thought process of 1/1s just because this is a modern house. We're allowing vinyl siding. I can appreciate where you were coming from with the thought process around that, but also adding more to that rounded area. I think no grids is actually more appropriate for this house.
I'm good with that.
And I don't disagree with this.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't disagree either, because they're all 1/1s up there, and it will actually make those small windows blend more with the other windows, because they're all going to be just basically a sash across it. So I agree with that. I just tried to follow the handbook, and I'll throw that one
I
out.
make a motion we do
So
1/1s. We allow 1/1s. I don't,
You need to amend the
yeah.
Is there any other details that we need to hash out or?
front
missed out
steps,
on?
the stone.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes, there's no railing system shown at the front steps, so that's something that will come later with the
Gonna come
steps
back with a
themselves. Yep, he's gonna come
Copy
back
for
with
that when
that.
it gets to
One
that
of those
point.
might be grandfathered. If he doesn't touch them, he doesn't have to come back. It's one of those things
Well,
because
the
they're
steps, but
existing.
we're talking about the railings.
But again, if the railings were not required and he's not altering them unless it's a code violation, he wouldn't have to.
So basically, code is 30 inches or below for a decking without railings. I'm pretty sure by the elevation. What was the front elevation on that? Do you have that picture? Was it 3 feet? We sent you some pictures with the elevation drawn in. So it's probably going to need to have some type of railings, code-wise and insurance-wise. I
Is it
think
worth
what was
just
there
tack-
now is they have like more raised up sides, like almost like couple granite things with the stairs going up. But basically, that also used to go up, I believe, to the side deck. So all that's gone now. So that's why I'll probably have to do a new set of front steps. The back deck would be, I'm looking to propose the Trex, and then basically a vinyl railing in the back that would be, basically square post, trim cap, trim rings,
If we tackled the railings and everything at a later date, that doesn't hold you up, as you were saying, right?
Oh, I'm good with anything. I'm hoping that I get some approval and we all come to an agreement and build a new house there, and he can have a new house and stop paying you guys a lot of tax money, so. For us,
So-
it's just a foundation in the ground.
So I'm just thinking, we've tackled the house itself.
Yeah, yeah.
If we set off and said, let's tackle the side, the
The stairs and the
Steps.
back up.
railings, even the garage at a later date.
Yep.
This at least gets you moving forward where you need to be.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's a done deal on the house. Just a little accessory stuff later. You could come back and
And
hash
I'll
that
be
out
honest
then.
with you, I want to put something in. I'm a tile guy by trade for 40 years. Done a lot of modular stonework like you've worked with before. I love stuff like that. So if it means, I'm not going to turn around and call Shea Concrete and throw a set of precast brick stairs out there that look tacky with a wrought iron railing. I'm not going to do that to the neighborhood or the house. So I'm more for if we have to, he actually said, oh, can we find any more granite like this, like the foundation? I said, sure, for
Have at it.
Rockefeller, we could find it somewhere. But the stone that's there, that's why it was important for me to keep the foundation and have 2 engineers look at it to get it, and get it certified, because the foundation's beautiful on the property,
I would agree.
So we can amend amend that motion to delete railings and stairs at this time.
So we're just gonna say, shall return for further discussion on railing, stairs, decks,
And garage.
garage.
So I guess where I'm getting at, so if this goes that way, basically maybe we'll schedule another meeting in January or February,
Correct.
when we're a couple months before that when it's framed, and
Reach out to the planning department to arrange that.
yeah, and I'll basically do a couple differently, maybe drawings up on different things for the front entry porch and stuff like that for you. You good?
That, as long as that works for you, that.
I'm willing to do all
Sounds like it
that,
works
yep,
for us.
Yep.
Well, just,
Sorry, this is like, yeah, I know.
Oh, sorry.
There's just so much to talk about here. No, I just noticed there's one thing. I don't know if you want to come back with this later as part of that. You could. I'm just seeing that the front door, like the top of the front door, is lower than the top of the windows, and I feel like that was just an oversight in the drawing, and you would probably align those.
No, they usually are.
The door is lower than the top of the window by 3 inches because you do a 6'8" door.
6'8" door and the window height is usually 7 foot.
Why not do a 7-foot door?
expensive.
I'm aware of one.
You could totally order a 7-foot door.
Cost.
So while they're hashing that out,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just suggest to you DePrizio Lumber in Middleton. They have private stock, which will help. We use it a lot in my house. Which
What's
is,
that?
DePrizio Lumber has, in Middleton,
Yeah,
has some private stock lumber that may help you with the round.
okay.
Go up. It's worth it if you can, it's not generally the floor people, but you kind of gotta mill around. There's private stock up there that works with some of these old houses, actual 2x2 and 4x4 and private stock up there.
Okay.
They're a mill too, but they might have some ideas for your round.
For the round room? Yeah, I've done it before. It's just tough when you're going up 2 stories with the codes now because of how you have to structurally support it. Back in the day, it was balloon framed with the
Giving you
studs.
some ideas.
So we have a motion generated from George that he's editing to,
So,
One more reading, please.
yeah, I was going to read the full motion and hopefully we can move on after that. So, as presented with the amendments of a round turret increased roof pitch, the round turret increased number of windows, increased front entry porch. I keep saying porch, I didn't even write it in there. Front entry roof pitch with a copper roof color, 8-inch corner board, 8-inch rake board, 4-inch window trim, 5-inch frost board, soffits with vinyl and aluminum system, no J-channel, 1/1 windows, and will return for porch, deck, railings, and garage details.
Sounds good. I'll second that motion.
All right. Any other discussion on this motion before we vote? All right. So all those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Your motion passes.
Kim didn't raise her hand at all.
Nope,
Right.
abstaining.
So one abstention. So your motion's passed. The building department will be in touch with you and getting your paperwork and approval.
Just a curious question, how long does that process take from being passed now to
Couple
Three.
when I
days.
could apply for a permit?
3 or 4 days.
Miss Mia's can answer that.
It takes less than a week. To
Oh, it
get
does?
either-
Oh.
Yeah, so you can
You guys
submit
work
your
quick
building
then,
permit.
so-
Yeah.
All right. This is all new to me because I've never went before a historical thing before, so I built a lot of houses, but nothing historical, so appreciate all the input and thank you so much.
Well, you'll get an education because we'll probably see you next month
So, yeah, no,
Or February.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you guys. Sorry for taking
Thank
up so
you.
much of your time.
yeah,
No problem.
have a good holiday.
I don't believe we have any other new business. So moving on to workshop business. Do we have any workshop business?
We can say that we are diligently working on the standards.
We can give an update that I guess I'd fall into communications and miscellaneous, but yes, we did meet with our subcommittee, it was 2 months ago now, I guess, September. Kind of figured out some of the directions we're going to look towards, basically exterior features, porches, infill development, and I'm missing another one here. Some of the
Sorry.
topics that we're kind of working on, making revisions.
Infill porches, mechanical siding.
Siding.
Yep.
R-
Siding and
Siding.
exterior features.
Mechanical?
Yes.
Yeah, like mini splits.
Oh.
The mini split
Like a
issue that's
mechanical siding.
coming.
2 bullets.
So and we just had another meeting previous to this. We're just barely getting going on this, so it's not a lot to report, but those are the topics we've decided to focus on. And with that, if there's any other communications miscellaneous, Ms. Mears?
Just one quick update. We did submit for the certified local government for design guidelines for infill development for the commercial industrial district. We reached out to Chris Scully, who actually came and did the presentation for camp. So he would be interested in working on that for us. So we should hear within the next 2 months if we got the grant. And then we're hoping to apply for phase 2 for Up on the Hill for any new construction.
A little late, but
I know.
so
There's
I have communication. I agreed to do the minutes through this meeting. I am not willing to continue to battle through them in the new year. Someone else can have the joy. So I think I said I would do them for 6 months, and this is the 6-month mark.
Are we due for redoing our roles, officers? Thank you, there's the word. Because I believe that is technically part of that.
I'm not sure when that is up for vote.
Staff will look into that.
Fair enough. So we'll get back to you on that, I guess. But obviously, we'll find someone to do it. If you're not doing it, we'll have to find someone else.
I can tell you who's not doing it.
Oh, there's always
Barely
a
have enough time to get
long
here.
list.
I can't read, so.
That's not true.
All right. If we have nothing else, I guess I'd look for a motion for.
No, I have
Adjourn?
one question on the communication end of it. A few weeks ago, we had an applicant, well, it wasn't an applicant, courtesy review of the building that's on market. What,
Yeah.
any movement on that?
My understanding is that I don't know that they're moving forward with that idea because they can't take the time to build before they need to be moving forward with other things. From my
Project.
understanding, yes, but don't quote me. That's
Okay.
not official.
Just curious, just haven't heard nothing from it since. Like,
Yeah, that was
motion to adjourn?
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand.
Aye, 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 aye,
Opposed?
aye.
We're adjourned.